So I was thinking today we'll do some core work as usual. We'll start off on our backs, and then we haven't done crow for a little while. Maybe I'll work our way up into crow. I'll just see how it goes. So I'd like you to come onto your back. We'll do a little bit of breathing work. So on your back, feet are on the ground, the knees are bent, so the knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. Close the eyes, just like you would in Shavasana. And just sort of bring all your attention to the breath, just regular breaths to begin with. And then bring one hand, the right hand. I like to bring the right hand onto the belly, left hand somewhere on the ribs, keeping the elbows on the ground so the arms are relaxed. Start taking deeper breaths, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And as you inhale, you're feeling the belly rise and the chest expand. As you exhale, the chest contracts, the belly sinks. Long, slow, deep breaths. Trying to make each inhale a little deeper than the previous one, a little longer. Exhales just as long as the inhales. Keep your focus on the breath. Two or three more. And then interlace the fingers. Extend the arms towards the ceiling, palms towards the ceiling, shoulders towards the ground. Try to get the arms straight. And then start bringing the arms over the head. Maybe touching the ground with the fingers. And then we bring the arms back up and we just shake the hands out. Bring the right leg up to the ceiling, take hold of the back of the leg. We're just going to work on the feet for a little bit, just pointing the toes and flexing the foot. And we'll just repeat that a few times, just point and flex. And then just circle the foot in one direction. And then circle in the other direction. And then point and flex again. And then switch legs, holding onto the back of the other leg, point and flex the foot. Circle, one direction. And then in the other direction. And then we point and flex a few more times. And then we bring both feet down to the ground. So we'll start off easy with the core work. So we're going to keep the knees bent. And we're going to place the hands on the belly or on the floor. If they're on the belly, you can feel those muscles working, and you're just going to bring the knees in and just lightly touch the ground with the toes. We do this quite often. Nice exercise, it's strengthening the core, but the back is nicely protected. Keeping the back low, keeping the knees bent, keeps the back safe. Not going too fast. You get more benefit if you go a little bit slower. A few more. And then bring the feet down. So the next one's similar. I think we did this last week. But this time we keep the knees bent, but this time we bring the hips off the ground. If this is too much, if you feel any discomfort in the back, just revert to this easier one. This time I bring the arms either side of me, and the arms are going to help as I bring the hips off the ground and pull the knees in. Working a little bit harder, a little bit more challenging. And as I say, if it does bother the back, just revert to the previous exercise we did, keeping the hips low. And keep going. If you need to stop, take a little breather, that's fine. Maybe you can do another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just bring the feet down. So remember, the straighter the legs when you do these exercises, you get more of a leverage action. It's more challenging, but potentially it could put more pressure on the back unless you really engage the core. So this is another one I like to do quite often. With my legs are straight, but you've got to really push the lower back into the ground as you bring the legs up and down. And this one in particular, if you do have any back issues, or you start to feel it in your back, just start to bend the knees and just do this one instead. But that's a tough one. You might want to add that, try that into your routine a little bit. Feet hip distance, feet further than hip distance apart, knees bent, windshield wipers. We take the knees over from side to side. And we're going to move with the breath. So we inhale as the knees come up, exhale as they go down. It's a little bit of core work, so working the obliques a little bit more. And we're adding a little bit of twist. So we're getting more mobility, we're trying to increase the range of mobility in the spine. So it's good for the back, this one. So this is the easy version of windshield wipers. The more challenging version is we bring the legs up to the ceiling. So we keep 90 degrees between the legs and the torso. We do this quite often. Arms either side of you at about 45 degrees. And we take the legs over from side to side. You don't have to take them all the way down. Might be too challenging to bring them back up, but you want a little bit of a challenge. The arms help to go down slow and to help you bring the legs back up. So we're just taking the legs over from side to side, trying to keep that 90 degrees. So as they come down, try not to let them go away from the body, trying to keep that 90-degree angle at all times. Good workout for the obliques. And again, you're strengthening the core, you're strengthening the back, and you're getting that extra mobility, that extra range of motion. And maybe you can start going down a little bit deeper each time. And then we bring the legs back to center, and we bring the feet onto the ground. Hips up and down with the breath. Inhale, pushing the lower back into the ground, bringing those hips up. Exhale, we slowly come down and relax for a moment. And then inhale up exhale down, and just repeat. And this not only works the glutes and the back, but you're working the legs, keeping the legs parallel to each other as you come up, pushing the feet into the ground, and it's going to strengthen the quads. And then we come down and we relax, we pull the knees in and we just rock a few times. Take hold of the back of the legs, rock yourself up into boat. We're balancing on the sit bones. Again, if the legs are straight, it's more challenging. You've got to work the core a little bit harder, keep the back nice and safe. But eventually, legs are straight, legs are higher, back is nice and neutral. You're breathing. Cross the legs, bring the hands either side of the hips. Engage the core, the root lock. See if you can just bring yourself up, balancing on the hands, even if it's for a microsecond, and then back into boat. And you're breathing. One more time. Cross the feet, come up, and then back down, back into boat. Pull the feet in. Come on to your hands and knees. Okay, cool. You guys are going to be so strong. Inhale, belly down, head up. Exhale, as you round the back, tuck the chin. Inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. Take your time. And then we come into child's pose. Relax. Extend the arms forward and walk the hands over to one side, getting a little bit of a back stretch. And then over to the other side. And then we're going to come face down on the mat, resting the head, the forehead on the ground or on the stacked hands. And we're going to start bringing the right leg up and down. And you're taking it up as high as you can, engaging the glutes as you bring the leg up. Full range of motion, nice and slow. Again, you're going to feel those glutes working, and it's going to strengthen the back. And then hold the leg up and still for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We come down and we start bringing the other leg up and down, nice and slow, as high as you can, working those glutes in the back. A few more. And then we keep the leg raised, leg straight for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We slowly bring the leg down, we bring the hands under the shoulders, and we come back into child's pose. onto your hands and knees, thread the needle. So we're from our hands and knees, we take the right arm, we thread it behind the left arm, you're resting on that right arm, the right side of the face, reaching with that bottom arm, pushing that left hand into the ground, elbow towards the ceiling. Just like those side-to-side child's poses, you're going to feel a stretch in the back. So that's where we want to feel it. But we're adding a little bit of a twist here as well. It's a little bit different. And then on the other side, onto your hands and knees, thread the needle, reaching towards the other side, pushing the hand into the ground, elbow up. Take a few breaths. And then come back onto your hands and knees. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. So we're trying to get the back neutral. You're bending the knees if you need to. You're looking between the legs. We bring the feet a little bit closer. Start walking the dog slow. Bending one knee as you straighten the opposite leg. Feeling that stretch in the calf muscles. Bring one leg straight, one knee bent. Get more length. Hands through the shoulders to the hips, pulling the armpits towards the ground. Really feel that length. Holding the pose gives you an opportunity to get that length. And then we switch, other knee bend. We look forward, walk forward between the hands. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale as you fold forward. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale into mountain, half salute. Inhale, reach up, look up towards the ceiling, palms together. Exhale as you fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway up, back flat. Exhale, we fold forward again. Inhale, breath core brings us up. Exhale into mountain. If you can't touch the ground with the legs straight, or if you feel any discomfort in the back, keep those knees bent as you come down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward again. Inhale, breath core works our way up. And then we come into mountain. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward again. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale into mountain. So we're going to come to the front of the mat. We'll come into chair. So I like the toes touching, but at least have the feet parallel. They could be apart, but I like them together. Inhale as you bring the arms up and bend the knees. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands, we walk into plank. We bring the knees down, keeping the elbows in, chin, chest comes down and forward. Inhaling into cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up to the ceiling. Extended down dog. Now a hip opener. We stack the hips, bringing the right hip over the left hip, bending that top knee. Keep the hands solidly on the ground. So you're trying to get the hips facing the side of the room. We switch, top leg down, other leg comes up. We stack the hips, we're bending that top knee. Top foot joins the bottom foot, we look forward, walk forward between the hands. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward, knees bent. We're back in chair, and then we come all the way up. Inhale into chair. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands. We're back in plank. Chaturanga or knees, chin, chest to ground. Elbows in. Upward facing dog. Looking up. Downward facing dog. Okay, try this. We come high up on the toes, so you're bringing the heels up. You start rounding the back. As you bring the shoulders over the wrists, you keep the elbows in and then you transition into upward facing dog, inhaling, and then you go back into downward facing dog. One more time, heels high, shoulders forward, chin tucked, then you open the head, you bring the head up and back into upward facing dog. You keep that core engaged as you go back into downward facing dog. Get into a rhythm. Inhale as you transition into up dog. Exhale, down dog. One more, just for the fun of it. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And then you bring the knees down and you sit on the heels. So let's just talk about yoga a little bit. Is that, some people will say, like my cousin was joining my class in the earlier sessions, and he said, he hurt himself, he hurt his back. What happens a lot of times is people they try too hard. Maybe that last sequence I could do 3 or 4, but maybe it's too tough and it starts to bother the body if you attempt that many. So part of yoga is knowing how far you can go. So if you just do 1, that may be enough for you. We're all different levels. So basically just take care of yourselves. Especially if you're relatively new to yoga. Downward facing dog. Look forward, walk forward between the hands. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale as we fold forward, knees bent. We're back in chair. And then we come all the way up. So we're going to do a chair twist, one side and then the other side. Let me face you guys. We bend the knees. We make sure the knees you make sure you can see the toes. So if you can't see the toes, you take the knees back. We bring the arms up, and then we're going to twist to the left. So you bring in the right arm onto the outside of that left leg, pushing into that leg, other elbow up towards the ceiling. What happens in the chair twist is sometimes one knee will come more forward than the other knee. Try and keep both knees in line with each other. And then we go on to the other side. And then we come back into chair, and then we come all the way up into mountain. Chair twist again, but this time we're going to go back into the lunge, into a lunge twist. Front of the mat. Let's twist to the left. Now this time, so we're in the chair twist, this time we focus on the feet, and we're going to take that right foot back and the knee down to the ground. So we're in a low lunge twist. And if you want a little bit more challenge, you bring the back knee up into a high lunge or crescent twist. You breathe. Options, variation on this one, bottom arm down, left arm comes up, spreading the arms. We bring the hands back together, we bring the hands either side of that front foot, we come into plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Take a couple of breaths in down dog, opportunity for a little breather actually. And then we look forward, we walk forward between the hands, inhaling halfway up, exhale as you fold forward, knees bent, we're back in chair, and then we do the chair twist on the other side, pushing that upper arm into the leg, palms together, we focus on the feet, we take the left leg back, let's take the knee down, just so we can get a little deeper twist maybe. And then, if you want, back knee can come up, you breathe. And then spread the arms, maybe, breathe. Knee down, palms together, hands either side of the front foot, plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. As I say, down dog, a little bit of a resting pose, but Child's pose is even better, right? Child's pose for a few breaths. We come up. We bring the hands in line with the toes, tuck the chin, open the chest, head goes back carefully, and then some of you might want to bring the hips up, opening the whole front body. Talking about opening the whole front body, I'm hoping you guys have straps. If you don't have a strap, I strongly recommend you get one. You can do a little bit of strap work. If you don't have a strap, you could use a belt, or you could just sort of improvise. You could just do this stretch and this stretch. If you don't have a strap, this is a good one. This is a good alternative. If you do have a strap, wrap the strap around the hands, and you want the strap tight enough, taut enough, but at the same time being able to get the arms straight. So you don't want it too tight, otherwise you won't be able to straighten the arms. So you want it long enough and taut enough so you can straighten the arms. The strap is directly above the head, and then we're going to bring it behind the head. You're breathing, and then we're slowly going to start lowering it so it's in line with the back of the neck. And then we line it up with the shoulders. And then we're going to keep hold of the strap and do a side stretch. If you don't have a strap, you can just bring the arms over. You could maybe do gate pose. And then we do a side stretch on one side. So again, the strap is really taut. I'm looking up towards the ceiling. I'm keeping the shoulders in one plane. And then we stretch out the other side of the body. You can get into a nice deep stretch if you're using the strap. And then we release. So gate pose, if you didn't have the strap, this is gate pose. You could just do this kind. This is another good side stretch. Let's everyone do this. Take the left foot over to the side. Resting, actually this is gate pose, legs straight. You're sliding the hand down the leg. And you're breathing. And you want to keep both shoulders in one plane, so one shoulder is no more forward than the other one. And then we transition over to the other side. So the leg is straight, lined up with the hips, knee, toes up towards the ceiling. You reach up with the other hand and you take that side stretch. And then we come back up and we shake everything out, moving those shoulders. Let's take the strap again. Come onto your back. This time we're putting the strap around the right foot. And we're holding onto the strap, and we're going to wrap the strap around the right hand. If you don't have a strap, you can hold onto the foot with the hands, or you can hold onto the back of the leg, but try and keep the head supported on the ground. Find an easy stretch. So I'm wrapping the strap around my right hand, so my left hand can be free, or it can be above that right hand. I'm trying to get the leg straight. I start off nice easy stretch and gradually go a little deeper. And then we're going to take that top leg over to the side, keeping the opposite hip grounded. As I say, if you don't have a strap or a belt, you just hold onto the leg or the foot. Just do the best you can. But a strap is good, so get a strap if you don't have one. Really try and keep both hips on the ground. Try not to let this opposite hip come higher than the right hip. A little bit difficult sometimes. We bring the leg back up and we switch. But this is a nice way to stretch out the hamstrings. The back is totally supported and protected. Strap is around the left foot. I'm going to wrap the strap around my left hand. I'm going to try and straighten the leg. I'm just getting an easy stretch in the back of the leg. And then gradually go a little deeper with the breath. And then I'm going to extend the other leg on the ground. I'm going to bring my right hand onto the top of the hip, the bony hip. Keep that hip grounded. I take the top leg over to the side. Doesn't have to go all the way down. Another thing I like to do is externally rotate the leg by turning the toes down, heel up. And you're getting a little bit of a stretch on the inside of the legs here. And then we bring the leg back up. And we put the strap to one side. Pull the knees in. Take hold of the back of the legs. Rock yourself up. Pull the feet in. Back on your hands and knees. Downward facing dog. And we bring the knees down. And we just sit on the heels. Move those shoulders. Bring one shoulder forward, up, back and down. Other shoulder. Take the arms out to the side. Lines of energy through the arms. Palms are facing the ground. Shoulders are soft. Bring the right arm under the left arm. Eagle arms. Touch the nose with the thumb. And then start bringing the arms up. Breathe. Feel that stretch across the upper back. Should feel good. We release. We extend the arms to the side again. We bring the left arm under the right arm. Touch the nose. And then bring the arms up. And release. And move those shoulders. Another good arm stretch. Bit of a challenge. We take one arm, so I'm going to take the left arm behind my back and bring the back of the hand between the shoulder blades. Then the other arm I bring up, I try and hook the fingers, trying not to push into the head, and then I try and slide that lower hand up the back a little bit. Try not to push into the head too much with that top arm. If this is a challenge, you could do eagle arms again. You could have a strap, so you're holding onto the strap. So if you can't connect the fingers together, you just hold on to the strap. Or you could just hold on to the opposite elbows. Whatever. We release. I haven't done that one for a while. Other side, taking the other arm behind the back, so I have to assist. So I grab that hand with my wrist, grab my wrist with my other hand. I bring the back of the hand between the shoulder blades, so that's what I'm trying to do. Sometimes it's nice to grab hold of that opposite elbow and pull the arm over, hand centered. You bring the other arm up. You're trying to keep that arm close to the head, so try not to let that elbow go out. You're trying to bring it close to the head as you hook the fingers. Try not to push into the head too much. And then once you've hooked the fingers, you can start sliding that lower hand up the back a little bit and bring the top arm away from the head. and you breathe. Good shoulder opener. Keep the shoulders happy, and as I say, an alternative is eagle or holding opposite elbows behind the back, and then release. What we'll do that again later on, adding a leg stretch, coming into cow face pose. We should have time for that. Okay, crow. So normally in crow, we'll come into a squat and we bring the knees slightly outside the upper arms. And you push into the arms. You bring the hands onto the ground. You come onto the toes and you're looking forward all the time. You're bringing your weight forward until the feet float. At this point, do not kick up, just let them float up. It can be 1 foot at a time. And then we're bringing the toes together and we're trying to squeeze the arms with the legs. That's usually how I show you how to come into crow. Another way is you come from a standing position. You bring in the hands in front of the feet, so there's probably 4, maybe 5 inches or so between the wrist and the toes. You then come onto your toes and you're bringing the knees towards the armpits. So this time the knees are on the back of the arms rather than outside the arms. You're still looking forward, you're leaning forward, and you just bring 1 foot up and the other foot up. You try and straighten the arms just a little bit. So the upper arms are almost like a shelf. You're breathing and you're holding. So back is rounded, you're looking up, and then you come down. You always look up. If you look down, the head is going to come towards the ground. You're going to land on your head. If you look up, you're going to be fine. You'll be just fine. Don't kick up. I mention this every time. If you kick up, it means your hips are too far back, you're never going to get up. If you don't want to do crow, you're just hanging out in the squat. You can push the arms into the legs. You can start bringing those hips forward, getting a bit of a hip stretch. And you're also stretching out the feet. Hands in front of you, heels high, knees high, looking forward. You bring your weight forward. And you just let the feet float up. And you bring the big toes together and you breathe. And we come back down. Okay. Easy peasy. Take the legs wide apart. I've been doing this more often. I've been getting a little bit of feedback where people are saying that the inside of the legs are really tight. So this is a good way to stretch out the inside of the legs and prepare us for that wide-legged, forward, seated bend. What else is good for that? Happy baby with the legs extended into the air, trying to get that V shape. It's a good stretch as well. Hold one leg straight, one knee bent. You're pushing the outer edge of that foot into the mat. So you're getting a nice stretch on the outside of the foot, all the way up the inside of the leg. Inhale up, exhale over to the other side. Come into a seated position. Kakasana. We're rocking from side to side, and as we rock, you're bringing the hips a little bit closer to the heels. Become still shift the hips forward, and then just flap the legs, butterfly pose. And then we're starting to encourage the knees down to the ground. If your knees are high, your back is rounded, sit on something, a block maybe. Eventually the legs are going to come all the way down. Just like the wings of a butterfly, the wings opening. Come onto your back. Happy baby. Again, it's that nice hip opener, using a lot of arm strength. And then we take hold of the big toes. And then we extend the legs over, trying to make a V position. And you're trying to get the tailbone as low as you can. You're pulling the shoulders away from the ears. And then we bend the knees, keeping hold of the toes, and we rock ourselves up. And you're going to try and bounce on the sit bones, keeping the feet off the ground. And then we extend the legs into a V again. And then we pull the feet in. So this next one, this is tough. I don't do this too often. Everyone hates this pose, so sorry. Legs are nice and wide. Take the extra padding from underneath the sit bone, so I'm pulling that padding out and want to get a little bit of space. You've got that nice joint on the inside of the hips. Be careful with the back on this one. Don't let it upset the back. We're trying to bring those hips forward. We're trying to keep the back as neutral as we can as we start to hinge forward. And we bring the palms down and we start walking those fingers forward. Eventually you're going to come all the way down to the ground. A lot of us are up like this. You're breathing. Some of you, the back is rounded. If you feel anything in the back, it's just a nice gentle stretch. So please be aware of what's going on at the back. This, you're going to get a stretch down the inside of the legs. Legs are active, toes up towards the ceiling. You try and hinge and you bring the arms down, and then eventually the whole body is going to come down to the ground. This is a tough one. It's hips, it's hamstrings, it's adductors, lots of stuff going on. It's also the back. Bring the hands behind, underneath the knees, and just assist. Cow face pose. We haven't done this for a while. So we're adding that arm stretch we did earlier, plus hip openers. So I'm going to try and take the mirror image. So take your right foot, so you're bringing the right foot in towards you, and you bring the other leg on top. Notice that I've got a big gap here. I want to try and get the legs closer to each other. The only way I can do that is to come up and squeeze those legs together, and then I come back down. Your left knee is going to be the high one. For me, it's my right. So if your left knee is high, it means your left elbow is going to go up. So you've got to bring your right hand behind you, and you do this action with the hands. For me, it's the other way. So just like we did before, you bring in the back of your right hand between the shoulder blades, and you try and hook the fingers, sliding that back hand up the back. This is cow face pose, Gomukhasana. And as I say, if you can't hook the fingers, you can just hold on to the opposite elbows. Breathe. And we slowly release the arms. Keep the legs, keep the feet where they are. You're going to rotate through 360. And the other knee is going to magically be on top. You come up, you squeeze the legs together, and you sit back down. So you should have the right knee on top. So you're bringing the left hand behind you. Back of the hand between the shoulder blades. You hook the fingers. Try not to push into the head. Cow face pose, other side, Gomukhasana. And you breathe. A lot going on, shoulder opener, hip opener. You breathing. And then we release. And this is the best part of it, right? Just releasing the arms, releasing the legs. Legs are crossed. And just rest the hands on the knees, close the eyes, take a little breather. Start bringing the right ear to the right shoulder. Feeling the stretch in the left side of the neck. Keep that side stretch, keep the head down, but start bringing the head a little bit more forward. And then taking the head more backward. Head back to neutral, back to center. Take the head over to the other side. You're trying to keep the shoulders relaxed, just letting the weight of the head stretch the neck. We're keeping that side stretched, keeping that head down, but we're bringing it forward. And then we're taking it backward. And then we bring the head back up to center. We bring the chin to the chest. We take the hands behind the head, encouraging the chin in a little closer. And then we come back up. Take a block. I'm sure everyone's got a block. Just have the block handy. Come onto your back. So we're going to go up into bridge. We'll hold bridge and then we'll slide the block underneath, coming into a restorative bridge. So whenever you're ready, take an inhale, push the lower back into the ground and bring those hips up. Active bridge, just hold bridge like this. Keep the gaze towards the ceiling. Do not gaze from side to side. Don't turn the head. Interlace the hands, walk the arms, shoulders closer. And push the arms and the hands and the head into the ground. Keep the legs nice and parallel. Hips can be neutral, in line with the legs. Or you can bring the hips a little bit higher if the back is okay with that. 2 or 3 breaths here. And then take the block, hopefully you have a block, half height, and just rest it underneath. So you're resting on the block. It's underneath the sacrum. You can bring the arms either side of you and relax. Restorative bridge. Excuse me. If you want to go a little bit higher, lift up the hips. So you're on your toes, you're lifting the hips up, and you put the block at its fullest height. Hold on to the block. If it's a nice firm block, you can release it. If it's a squidgy soft block, keep hold of the block. Next, maybe you bring the legs up into an inversion. Holding onto the block or having the arms either side. Hang out here for a few breaths. And then we bring the feet down. We lift up the hips, we put the block to one side. Knees come in and you just rock from side to side. Bring the hands onto the knees and just make circles with the knees as you're holding onto them, circling in one direction and then in the other direction. Extend the right leg on the ground, pulling the left knee in and come into a twist, taking that left knee over to the right as you extend the left arm, looking over the left shoulder. Take about 3 breaths. And then we pull the knees in again. You're on your back, you rock a little bit. And then the twist on the other side, extending the left leg, right knee pulled in. Take that knee over to the left, extending the right arm, looking over the right shoulder. Come out of the twist. A little bit of rocking with the knees pulled in. And then a full body stretch. Legs extended. Arms extended over the head. Getting as much length as you can. Little bit of a side stretch. Stretching out one side of the body. And then stretch out the other side, side stretch, other side, getting it that crescent shape. And then we recenter and come into Shavasana, bringing the arms either side, palms face up, eyes closed, and just relax here. Maybe moisten the lips. And just totally relax, just letting the whole body sink into the ground. Letting every muscle, every part of the body get heavy. Keeping your focus, keeping your attention on the breath. Start to take deeper breaths. Start moving, start wiggling the fingers and toes. And then stretch the hands out, stretch the toes out, and then just relax. Walk the feet in. And just roll over to your side, keeping the eyes closed. Take about 3 or 4 breaths. And then gently push yourself up into a seated position. Inhale as you sweep the arms up. Exhale as they come down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Keep the palms together. Namaste.